The Moneyline News Hour, weeknights 6:30 Eastern on CNN.
This is a presentation of CNN Sports Illustrated.
The new year is all about pigskin on Sports Tonight and the fight to survive in the NFL. The weather was the least of Tampa's concerns. The Bucs get buried by a tenacious D and a budding superstar quarterback. AFC quarterbacks had a tough go, but Trent Dilfer answered the bell and got some help from the former Bronco. How sweet it is for Shannon Sharpe. There's coaching news, more on Bill Parcells' possible return to the sideline. And we are on Orange Bowl watch, focusing on the unique relationship between the two guys who will try and stop Chris Wenke and that high-powered Seminole offense. And so much for that global warming thing. The Independence turns into the Snow Bowl in Louisiana. Oh, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
What a great rendition of the song. Yeah, Happy New Year to all of you. Not 2001, the Space Odyssey, but always sort of a sports odyssey around here. I'm Mingham.
And I'm Michael Lanos. Happy New Year. We're down to the final 8 in the NFL. And if you look at it, really some surprising entries. What a weekend it was.
Yeah, we're going to start with that whole, the cold weather cursed the Buccaneers 0-19 when the temp is 40 or lower. Well, game time temp may have been cold. It was 34 degrees in Philly. But the Eagles quarterback, he was hot. Kind of seems like just yesterday, first round of the '99 draft. After the Browns took Tim Couch with the first pick, the Eagles took Donovan McNabb with the second. And the instant his name was announced, the boos began. Philly fans wanted Ricky Williams, and they let the Eagles brass know about it. But in a town where compliments are few and far between as playoff wins, Donovan McNabb has become Philly's favorite son.
Yeah, this is the best. It's all about just going to play football, baby. You got to enjoy it. That's what it's about. 10-8.
That's the man, McNabb. Philly's defense, though, showed up early. Sean King drops back, sees the blitz, and just throws it away. King was also sacked 4 times on the day. Here, King. Hands off to Warwick Dunn, but he's dropped for a loss. Dunn, just 1 yard on 8 carries. Then it got really bad. King back to pass, and he's nailed from behind by Hugh Douglas. Look at him just fly in, fumbles. The Eagles recover. Mike Allstott was supposed to be there to block Douglas because of a mix-up. Allstott was on the side. Warwick Dunn was in, and Douglas just ran right over the 5'8" Dunn. Eagles ball. They take advantage of the field position, move it down to the 5-yard line, and 4 plays later, McNabb drops back and takes it in himself. Eagles with a 7-3 lead. Now 17 seconds left in the first half. The Eagles once again down in the red zone. McNabb using his arm this time. Finds Nay Brown in the corner. It's 14-3 McNabb. 24 of 33, just 161 yards. But you know what? They were efficient yards, short passes. Fourth quarter, same score. Eagles 3rd and goal at the Bucs 2-yard line. McNabb, this short drop, drills it through coverage to Jeff Thomason. That's good. Capping a 10-play, 57-yard drive. Eagles go on to win it. The final of this one, 21-3. Donovan McNabb, 3 touchdowns, 1 if by ground, 2 if by air. And the Eagles, who were just 5-11 last season, are moving on to face the Giants next weekend. Happy New Year for everyone in Philly. Mark Morgan has more from the city of brotherly love.
In taking command of this game, the Eagles made no pretense of even trying to run the ball against the stingy Tampa Bay defense. Through 3 quarters, Donovan McNabb took what the Bucs gave him, picking them apart with short passes, completing 23 of 30 and running the ball 6 times himself. The Eagles' offensive style, though deliberate, proved devastating.
We felt that we can sort of get the ball behind them to our receivers, but they just continue to drop in their zone, so we just continue to drop it down to the backs and let them work. And, Cecil did an excellent job catching the ball, getting it upfield. Brian Mitchell did the same, and so did Chris Warren.
I think that was the key, taking advantage of what they gave us. Don't try a lot of big stuff or be creative and make something happen when that wasn't there. Let's just take the little stuff that they're giving us and just keep moving the chains.
Dink and dunks, our defense pretty much gives up the dink and dunks, but we need to tackle. That's our philosophy. They can catch it, but we got to tackle it and keep the yardage down to as few yards as possible. And I don't think we tackled that well today.
They're a passing team, and they stayed with what they do well. We didn't rush them as well as we would have liked. They made some plays, got it into 3rd and shorts, and kind of kept the drives going.
When he gets out of the pocket, he's tough to deal with because he throws well on the run, and he also has the ability, unlike other quarterbacks that run for 3-4 yards, he has the ability to really make some big runs that can keep the chains moving, and they do a good job of utilizing his skills.
In the week leading up to the game, McNabb was asked if the Bucs defense would be the best the Eagles have faced all season long. McNabb said his own defense was better, and that irritated, among others, Tampa Bay defensive tackle Warren Sapp. But the Bucs converted just 23% of their third down attempts and gained only 199 yards on offense. So maybe McNabb was right after all. In Philadelphia, I'm Mark Morgan.
Thank you, Mark. Wild Card weekend, all about being at home and all about playing defense. Exhibit A, the Ravens. Many say the best defense since the '85 Bears, but to be mentioned with Singletary and crew, you have to win some playoff games. You're not going to be playing the Bengals and Browns twice in a season. Baltimore got the second-ranked offense in the league. In round one, Denver, and Ray Lewis and his gang, they were ready to send a message.
We ain't come this far to go home, because we already home. All we got to do is send somebody else home.
There you have it. Ray Lewis all fired up, leading that defense, and they were all over Gus Frerotte and Mike Anderson, and it's Lewis making a key play early. The tip. Lewis with the interception also had 7 tackles. Oh, yes, they could have used Brian Griese. Emotion, effort. That's what marked that Ravens defense again. And the offense, the guy carrying the load again, the rookie, Jamal Lewis. You see he's got the great feet and the power all the way down to 1. Lewis, he rushed for over 1,300 yards this season. It'll be between him and Mike Anderson as to who gets that Offensive Rookie of the Year award in the NFL. Lewis flying in for the touchdown. Ravens strike first, up 7-zip. Trent Dilfer, many wondered how he played. Did pretty well. He got a break here. His pass tipped off Lewis, tipped again, and guess who comes up with it? The former Broncos Shannon Sharpe gets a couple of great blocks. Bill Romanowski was erased on that play. Shannon Sharpe, the 58-yard touchdown, had 3 catches, 58 yards. Trent Dilfer, 9 of 14 for 130, no picks. A key stat, 14-3 Ravens, and they poured on from there in the second half. Jamal Lewis running right through his old college teammate Al Wilson, breaks another tackle, and another. Lewis, 30 carries, 110 yards, striding in for the 27-yard touchdown, 21-3. Art Modell, hated in Cleveland, but they love him in Baltimore, and they love that defense. 5 sacks on the day. Rob Burnett swallowing up Gus Frerotte there, you better believe. Defensive muscle, keying it for the Ravens. Brian Billick and Shannon Sharpe celebrate. First playoff game in the city of Baltimore since 1977, and they get a win thanks to that defense. They hold Mike Anderson to 40 yards rushing. Gus Frerotte, 13 of 28 for 124. The Broncos, just 177 total yards, 233 below their average. Tom Rinaldi has more from Baltimore.
When teams try to run the ball, the Ravens' Ray Lewis said, they run right into our hands, and how right he was. In a contest between the AFC's highest scoring offense and the Ravens' dominant defense, it was no contest. With Baltimore's front 7 keying on Mike Anderson all day, the Broncos managed just 1 rushing first down. And as a result, the Ravens have their first playoff victory in franchise history with their trademark, defense first.
This defense brings 2 things that, basically can't be coached or recruited, which is, one is attitude and the other is effort. We play with an attitude and we play all out effort. And it's just hard. It's hard. It's very hard to defeat 11 guys with 1 single goal.
Our thing is we don't believe in 100-yard rushes. We don't believe nobody even established the game by running the ball. And that's our pride. It's not being boastful. That's just something we don't believe in.
They try to take the will out of you, take the fight out of you first off right from the jump. They just stay on the attack throughout the whole game, and they play hard.
Well, we have to take the running game. That's a priority. Any team, so all teams are going to come in and try to establish a running game. So first you got to do that, and then the offense score their points, and then try to take out the passing game, and we're able to put pressure on them.
We have a good front 7. I mean, they're really good, and it's hard to move those big bodies. And doing that, today we said in the secondary, hey, man, you guys take care of the run, we take care of the pass, and we'll play football.
This defense or this team can go and keep on going and win. It'll be compared as one of the best of all time, if not the best. But I think it's all predicated on winning. When you win Super Bowls, I think you always put those defenses in an elite class.
After the game, Mike Shanahan said he didn't want to play Brian Griese because he wanted to protect him against Baltimore's big hits. It was Denver's best decision all day. As for the Ravens, they now get a chance to take on the Tennessee Titans. And remember, Baltimore is the only team to beat Tennessee at home in the last 2 seasons. In Baltimore, I'm Tom Rinaldi.
Thank you, Tom. Denver had a 7-game playoff winning streak snapped. They won because they could run with Terrell Davis, but even he would have had a tough time on Sunday. Just 18 rushing attempts for the Broncos. You know that spelled doom for Denver.
Well, you know what? We're just getting started. Coming up, you may not know about Oklahoma's 2 tough linebackers, but you better believe Florida State's offense does. We will preview the orange.
And Sports Illustrated's Peter King has the latest on Bill Parcells' possible return to coaching. And we hit the ice with those Road Warriors from Los Angeles. They beat the Blues in St. Louis, the Stars in Dallas, and they came after the Wings in Detroit. Stay with it.
Now you be good and do what Grandma and Grandpa say.
We will. We will.
And you, don't spoil them rotten.
We won't. We go again. We go again.
Sure.
Yay!
You don't want that. You want this.
Really? Now, we're not spoiling you, are we? No. Good.
Call 1407-WDisney.
How about a balloon?
And make your dream come true.
Bonjour, je suis en raisin.
Anyone can join French Club. You don't have to eat snails or be rude.
No.
The Petersons are planning their first trip to Paris. They're using United.com to explore options for hotels, rental cars, en français seulement, and of course, to get a good deal on flights.
Holy cow!
Étranger.
Ce qui fait gut le bureau.
Welcome to Fantasy Basketball at CNNSI.com, a magical place where you are in charge of your own destiny. Handpick your own team of champions to slam dunk, shake, and bake, and so much more. Complete with a bounty of magnificent prizes, this fantasy is free, so please indulge, because here it is always jam time. Log on to Fantasy Basketball at CNNSI.com, where hoop dreams come true.
Log on to CNNSI.com. Navigate easily through the most complete sports site on the web. From breaking news and unrivaled multimedia coverage of sports to exclusive online information direct from Sports Illustrated, it's just what you'd expect from the best 2 names in the business. Sports Illustrated at CNN Speed, CNNSI.com.
New Year's Eve on ice. It's the Kings and Wings from Detroit, and someone needs stitches. Ouch. Trying to think of something more original, but I couldn't. Third period is scoreless. Nicholas Lindstrom to Steve Yzerman. He gets it to go. Wings with a 1-zip lead. But with less than a minute left in the game, the Kings are attacking. Matthew Schneider across Rob Blake. He's open. He gets it to go. We're tied at 1 apiece. But check out this ending. Less than 10 seconds left. Igor Lariana fighting for the puck. Finds Yzerman, and he finds the net with just 4.3 seconds left. Happy New Year in Detroit. Red Wings taking it 2-1.
Well, Bill Parcells is at the center of coaching rumors in the NFL again. Jets fans hope he comes back to take over for Al Groh. And reportedly, Daniel Snyder is trying to lure Parcells into coaching the Redskins. On NFL Preview Sunday morning, Sports Illustrated's Peter King had the inside scoop.
I talked to Parcells last night. He was saying nothing right now, but a source close to Parcells told me last night that they doubt sincerely he would ever consider coaching the Jets. And number 2, he may take another coaching job in the NFL. And let me just say one other thing. It will not, repeat, will not be in Washington.
There you have it. Well, he's the next in a long line of great Bears linebackers. First Butkus, Singletary. Now Brian Urlacher is showing all the promise. He's the AP's NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. The 9th pick in the draft, had a team-high 125 tackles, 8 sacks, and he picked off a couple of passes.
Veteran Eagles running back Brian Mitchell may have said it best. You either have it or you don't. Well, Donovan McNabb definitely has it. Added Mitchell, he's got more ability than any quarterback I've ever seen. Mitchell said it without tripping, though. That ability was on display for the Bucs Sunday at the Vet, and our Mark Morgan caught up with the man.
Donovan McNabb accounts for all 21 of the Eagles' points in the win over the Bucs. And offensively, what was the game plan going in? It seemed like you guys almost forsake the run early on. A lot of nickel and dime 6- and 8-yard passes, and it was successful for you.
Well, what we were doing, we were, trying to attack them in the deeper zone. They were running up underneath our receivers and tight ends, and then so that led us to check it down to the back. It's just going through the progression, playing mistake-free football. From then on, just make sure you execute. Bucs head coach Tony Dungy said that Hugh Douglas's sack was the biggest play of this game in the first quarter. That seemed to set the tone, and you guys just carried it home from there. Well, definitely. Our defense, I always said, is probably, second to none, one of the best defenses in the league, and we get prepared on the offensive side just from going up against our defenses. Jim Johnson did an excellent job of just finding a way to get to the quarterback, so that puts us in great position to go out every week and prepare for another team because not a lot of teams blitz like our team. Next up, the Giants, a team that beat you twice decisively both times this year. How do you turn that around here in the playoffs now? Well, from this point on, it's 0-0. We're not worried about if we're 0-2 against them or they're 2-0 against us. We got to go out and play football. We go out and play football and play mistake-free football. Hopefully we can come out on top and no one to talk about those 2 losses. Thanks for your time. Thank you. All right, the Eagles face the Giants, as we said, next up, and they have lost 8 straight times to the New York Giants. In Philadelphia, I'm Mark Morgan.
All right, thank you, Mark. And coming up a little later in the show, we will go one-on-one with Ravens tight end Shannon Sharpe, who burned his former team on Sunday. And Shannon, you better believe he'll have something to say about it. Always does. Stay with us.
Insider Reports is brought to you by Dodge and nearly 3,000 dealers who invite you to come see what's different.
Presenting the best minivan ever. The only one available with power sliding doors and a power hatch. Nothing else is remotely like it. The all-new Dodge Grand Caravan. Different.
He is a happy conservative.
I'm a little bit more of a conservative than Mary, and she's a lot more of a Republican than I am.
Prince of Darkness and deserves the title.
Am I obviously right? I would say I was obviously far right.
Think you know football? Prove it. You could win prizes by beating the experts. Match your picks against professionals like Ron Meyer.
Moby Dick was a minnow the last time I lost picking football games.
The best fantasy football on the web is at CNNSI.com.
Our world is constantly changing, so CNN Newsroom is changing the way students look at their world. Newsroom delivers a half-hour of commercial-free news and features to classrooms each day, giving the day's top stories meaning with background and history, while daily features bring school curriculum to life. Easy-to-use classroom guides are on the World Wide Web, and it's all free. Teachers, enroll in CNN Newsroom today, because learning never stops, neither does the news.
Monday in the Spin Room. Happy New Year. Tell us what resolutions you want other people to make in 2001. From the president-elect to your mother-in-law, email Preston Carlson your resolutions for others. Monday, 10:30 Eastern on CNN.
I'm looking forward to the Orange Bowl January 3rd, not just because it's the national championship game, but because then we can stop doing preview stories. Until then, though, until the game, we'll just have to do with that. And this hour, we take a look at what wins championships. Defense. While Florida State is dictated by the defensive line, the Sooners' defense relies on its linebackers, 2 in particular. Paul Crane has their story.
When opponents look at Oklahoma's defense, they do so with 2010 vision. Whether it's run or pass, number 20, junior linebacker Rocky Kalmus, or number 10, senior linebacker Torrance Marshall are usually involved.
It's fun. I mean, we're just aggressive, go after them, not wait for them. We set the tone and the momentum of the game. He wants to make the play as bad as I do, and it's either meet you there, beat you there with us.
Knowing we got 2 linebackers, number 10, number 20, that goes out there, they go out there and they give it up every play. And just feeding off of that, that makes the other 9 guys around us just makes go out there and play even better too.
The relationship between Kalmus and Marshall started with a bit of friction. When Kalmus, who had played inside for 2 years, was moved outside to make room for Marshall. The two still don't hang out together, partly because Marshall is married and has 2 children, but their relationship on the field is now as strong as any.
So they support one another by knowing what to do and being in position on the ball, and they're very explosive, they're great tacklers, and that's how they complement one another.
With us too, we're not jealous of one another. There's no envy there. We both want something good to happen for one another, and we care about each other a lot, and on the field, it's the same way. Yeah, I mean, we talk, hey, I'm going to beat you in tackles this year, I'm going to get you this week, or, just compete. It's it's a little bit of friendly but aggressive competition.
That competition has been the key to Oklahoma's defense. Kalmus has a team-leading 122 tackles, 16 for losses. Marshall, an outstanding blitzer, is close behind with 96 tackles, 14 for losses. And each linebacker has returned an interception for a touchdown. Marshall's late game winner at Texas A&M could be OU's Play of the Year.
They have a great friendship, great respect for one another, and they've I think just as a team, understanding their assignments is where they help one another.
You can depend on somebody, so you don't have to worry about, well, maybe if I go this way or this way, maybe I shouldn't because I don't know if this guy be there. That's not the case with Rocky. I think we make a good combo, and hopefully someday, if God wills it, maybe be at the next level with him again.
Marshall has said that he, too, hopes to play with Kalmus down the road on Sundays, even though Kalmus has 1 year of eligibility left. For now, these two very differing personalities will be together for one final collegiate game, where the stakes and opportunities have never been higher. In Miami, I'm Paul Crane.
All right, thank you, Paul. A little bit more Eve bowling, the Silicon Valley Classic. That's Air Force and Fresno State. Dave Carr to Bernard Berrien. That's good to go. Air Force was up 10, but now suddenly Fresno State's within a field goal. Fresno State down 3 late in the game. They fake the game-tying field goal. The punter, though, misfires. Air Force holds on for the 37-34 win.
And now time for the New Year's Eve Panasonic replay of the day. It comes to us from the ice. Blackhawks and Hurricanes. And here we go. A spectacular the pass. Jeff Daniels. Look at him. Control it. The no-look backhander. Got to take another look to truly appreciate that one. Canes win the game 2-1. Watch Daniels. Control it. No look. Score it. Happy New Year. The Panasonic replay of the day.
Replay of the day is brought to you by Panasonic High Definition Television. HD TV from Panasonic. Just slightly ahead of our time.
Just a bit of magic. Oh, you gotta see it. Slightly unexpected. Perfectly perfected. Ahead of your head, I said. Our stuff is what dreams are made of. Time to bring it on home.
High-definition television, made possible by Panasonic, just slightly ahead of our time.
Just a bit of magic.
The perfect vehicle for whatever circle you travel in. Even if it's the Arctic Circle.
Hur var trafiken?
Det vanliga.
The all-wheel drive Volvo Cross Country. Adventures in luxury.
Stuff.cnnsi.com, the CNN Sports Illustrated Stuff Store. The place for CNNSI.com and Sports Illustrated clothing, videos, calendars, and more. Go behind the scenes with the world's most beautiful swimsuit models in our Sports Illustrated Swimsuit 2000 video. Get polo shirts, t-shirts, and caps, all embroidered with the CNN Sports Illustrated logo. Get the stuff you want at stuff.cnnsi.com.
Log on to the most innovative travel site on the web, cnn.com/airport. Get up-to-the-minute flight information from CNN FM's exclusive flight tracker. Plus, check out 4-day weather forecasts for 5,000 cities around the country. And travel tools like airport and city guides for U.S. and international cities.
with tips on restaurants, hotels, and shopping. So before you take off, log on to cnn.com/airport.
More from the ice, Rangers and Stars just 2 minutes into the game. Stars in transition. Mike Modano to Darian Hatcher. Hatcher, Mike Keane, he scores it. 1-zip Dallas. Now time winding down in the third. Stars on the attack again. This time Grant Marshall to Joe Nieuwendyk, who scores it. Stars win it 6-1, 5-0-2 in their last 7 against the Rangers.
A little NBA action. Pistons and Wizards. Rod Strickland back, but obviously not in the game. Don't play with a suit on. Third quarter. Scoring for Strickland, Chris Whitney opened for 3. Whitney again. With a nice crossover to the hoop. That's good for 2. Richard Hamilton drives, drains the leaner, and it's Hamilton again. Rip with the 3. The Wizards outscored Detroit 34-19 in the third and go on to take it 110-96. We move on. 2 struggling teams. It's the Nets and the Bulls. Second quarter, the rookie getting involved. Sherman Douglas, the alley-oop. Kenyon Martin. That's good to go. Nets with a 1-point lead. Third quarter, Bulls up big time by 13. Thanks to that man, Elton Brand, at 31 points and 16 boards. The Bulls just sealing the deal. Brand to Bryce Drew to run Artest. Artest with 14 as the Bulls take it 86-77.
One of the hyped matchups in the Ravens-Broncos game, former teammates Shannon Sharpe and Bill Romanowski going at it. Sharpe said, "I'm the CEO of Trash Talk." Romo, he's just the vice president. And the CEO won out with his playing as Shannon Sharpe really came up with arguably the play of the game. Our Tom Rinaldi muscled up with Mr. Sharpe.
The Baltimore Ravens, a big win over a team that this man knows a little bit about, Shannon Sharpe. Begin with the touchdown catch. Do some bounces just end up in your hands for some reason?
You know, that's really the first time that I think it's only about the third time that I've ever caught a tip pass in the game. And it just so happens that I caught the ball and just took off running. And I was at the wrong place at the right time, so to speak. You know, we had a play call that we were hoping to get a certain defense where we could hit the post over the top, and they checked to another coverage. And I tried to get my head around quick. Maybe Trent was going to throw it to me. He threw it to Jamal, and Jamal bobbled it, and I thought Terrell Buckley was going to pick it. And so I was getting ready to chase him, and the ball just hung up in there. And I just got it and just took off running.
The irony of having that happen against your old team. What was it like to face them today?
You know what, to be perfectly honest, I just approached it like a normal game. I didn't want to get too high or too low. And then my brother called me last night and left a message, and he said, hey, no matter what's happened, you know, you play your game and don't get drawn into anything that might hurt you or your team. And so and I just kept playing the Mason. I just kept living that message over my head. I just wanted to come out here and play hard and play smart and let good things happen.
Finally, you've been on Super Bowl champion teams. Does this team have what it takes?
I think so, but it's still early. I mean, one game doesn't crown you a Super Bowl contender. You just have to keep winning, and hopefully we can keep winning and good things will happen for us. And if we do that, we'll see. We got a very tough game next week, but we're going to be ready for the challenge.
Shannon Sharpe, thanks so much. We appreciate your time. Congratulations. Shannon Sharpe, a 58-yard touchdown reception. The Ravens win. Tom Rinaldi in Baltimore.
And here's the playoff schedule for next weekend. The Saints and Vikings start things off. Minnesota trying to snap the 3-game slide. Late game, Miami at Oakland. That should be a good one. Then Sunday, third meeting between the Titans and Ravens this season. Both times the road team has won. Well, the Giants, they've owned the Eagles this season, winning 33-18 at Philly and 24-7 at home.
And a wild shootout down in Shreveport in the snow. Texas A&M going at it with Mississippi State. This one crazy. Dante Walker with 3 touchdowns for the Bulldogs. Well, that's going to do it. I'm Inge Hamlin.
I'm Michael Lanos. Happy New Year. We'll see you.
Closed captioning provided by USSearch.com. Find out if anyone you know has a criminal record. One of over 50 information products now available at USSearch.com.
Greta Van Susteren takes on important issues in depth in her own feisty style. Get to the point with Greta Van Susteren, weeknights 8:30 Eastern on CNN.